he being Steve Butler, a two-time USAC Sprint Car champion, starts alongside Mark Alderson. He says he's overdue on the pavement. In row 2 this evening, a winner here 3 weeks ago, Greg Staub in 44. Kevin Huntley starts outside in 69. In the third row, Jack Hewitt in 23. Bob Fry, the fast qualifier, in 20. The fourth row, Trey House and Rich Vogler. In row 5, Gene Lee Gibson and Mac McClellan. In the sixth row, it's Jim Childers and Tony Elliott. In row 7, Larry Rice and Jerry Niemeyer. In the 8th row, Rick Hood and Charlie Fisher. In the 9th row, Blake Hollingsworth and Jeff Bloom. And in row 10, Mike Blake and Paul Stender. The world flag has been given. We have 1 lap to go.
I'd like to take a time here to say hello to Mrs. Earl Baltus, who was burned at her home last week, is in the hospital with burns over 22% of her body, and I'd like to just wish her a speedy recovery, and we're thinking of her.
I don't think anyone has promoted more USAC events than Earl Baltus at a number of racetracks, including the Big E, Eldora. The race is about to go green. There is the green flag. Will it stick? Apparently it will. Into the first turn. Steve Butler, the two-time defending USAC Sprint Car champion. Some bumping bumper tag coming off the second corner. They begin to single file their way down the backstretch into turn 3. But Butler says, hey, I think this is my night.
There's Hewitt making his move already. These guys are hot tonight. They're really going for it.
Hewitt drives that orange car as the shot of the cars coming down the main straightaway. Hewitt rides in third position.
Hewitt can run this race as hard as he wants to because it's cooling off with that wind, and his car is working so good. He's not using the tire hard, and he knows how to run up top here. You know, he could be a surprise winner, even though Steve Butler is on the pole.
Well, Steve Butler is out in front. Mark Alderson rides in second in a white 52. Then it's the orange number 23 of Hewitt. And then the fast qualifier with a new track record earlier. He won his heat race. He's going for a sweep in that yellow number 20. That is Bob Fry. That is the V6 Chevrolet. It is being produced by the same company in Michigan that turns out the engines for the IROC series.
K-Tech Automotive.
K-Tech up in Michigan. This car, in fact, was built by Glenn Nibel about 11 years ago. It started life with a V8 engine, and they put the V6 in the same position. Unfortunately, it was too light in the front end. They had to move the V6 up. There's a look at Steve Butler out of Kokomo, Indiana. A computer expert when he's not driving race cars.
That's right, he works for Delco.
A computer troubleshooter.
They call in and explain what the problem they're having. He goes to his computer. He goes through all his files in the computer, and he says, well, in the past we found this, and he fixes problems across the country for mechanics.
Well, in the cockpit, he has no computer. It's all done with the brain and the right foot and the steering wheel. Right there is a look to the inside, and that is Bob Fry in the yellow number 20 working on Hewitt in the orange 23. That is the battle for third position.
If he keeps working on Hewitt the way he is, Hewitt's going to use the right rear tire up because he did smoke it pretty good that time.
And, of course, it's a much lighter race car for Bob Fry in number 20. He's won on the short tracks up at Anderson, the little 500. He's won here, and he's also won on the big track, the mile at Phoenix.
He doesn't have enough horsepower to make the pass he's trying. He will have to pass on the outside. Unless he gets an excellent corner, he can get far enough ahead off the corner to get by.
Well, 6 laps are now complete. They work on lap 7. This is a 30-lap feature. Again, only one driver has won 2 of these Tony Holman Classics, and that is Pancho Carter. He drove the pace car this evening. Pancho was victorious back in 1975 and again in 1979. We do have 4 past winners in the race. One is leading. In fact, Steve Butler won it 1 year ago on the dirt at the Terre Haute Action Track. And again, he tries a run down into turn 3, but he could not make it stick that time. As we go back to the front of the pack, there is your leader. Butler in the red car. Alderson rides in second in the white car, and there is that battle for third spot.
Well, he's going to make a move on the outside, and he's waiting to pick his chance to get by on the outside. The middle of the corner, the car is so fast, there's any room he'll get by. In a race of this length, which is actually only 20.58 miles long, he has, you know, you need to get the job done in a hurry.
Well, right now, they cannot lose sight of the leader. And the leader, Steve Butler, as we saw a couple of weeks ago, had the race very well in hand until he broke a wheel, had to go to the back of the pack, charged back to finish in the top 3. But right now, he is where he wants to be, well out in front, and he is being pursued by the white 52 of Mark Alderson. Alderson can be very, very drivers.
Look, there's Jim Childers.
Jim Childers in that pavement car out of Florida.
The wind doesn't do anything to these cars, basically, because there's not enough aerodynamic devices on these cars, or none supposedly by the rules, to make any difference. So the only thing it may do is you may run just a little bit faster down the front straightaway with the wind than you are down the back straightaway heading into the wind. There goes Pup on the inside, but I don't know how he can make it down there. It's oily.
Well, he's going to lose the position trying on the low side, because here on the high side is number 44 Staub, and Greg Staub makes the pass. And Greg, a yellow flag out.
Looks like Gene Lee hidden behind that pole.
Gene Lee in the black number 3, the second time he's been up against the fence this evening. The yellow flag is out.
Now
Gene Lee Gibson had been riding in 10th position, had that altercation with Vogler, got restarted, and now he's back up against the fence. The yellow is out again.
He's had a rough night. He's backed in the fence once, been in trouble 2 or 3 times tonight. And whether it comes from the car not working well and overdriving it, or just situations that happen, I don't know.
27 laps now complete. We still have 3 laps to go.
And we can see some changes here in the next 3 laps. You know, it's still not impossible for Mark Alderson to win this race with an excellent restart. And it's still not impossible for Bob Fry to get by both those guys if they're racing for the lead. He could drive by on the outside.
Well, the repair crew is out there. The safety crew working on the track. We'll get the track cleaned up and come back for the last 3 laps. Don't go away. Stay with us.
Quaker State with QSX. How do you make a motor oil this good? You test it in the lab. You test it under the hood. You test it on the track.
Quaker State quality. We don't just talk about it, we live by it.
The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will. Want to make your pulse race? Come see the Quaker State Porsche race in the Quaker State 500 at Pocono Raceway, Sunday, August 21st. Call 1-800-RACEWAY.
To me, investing is a lifelong proposition. Whether you're 25 or 55, whatever your individual goals, you must be diversified. You've simply got to build a prudent mix. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, CDs, fixed income securities. Investing today means avoiding conflicts of interest. Get your advice independent of the broker performing your transactions. Today, more than ever, it's critical to reduce your investing costs. If you make your own decisions, you ought to be able to cut your commission costs in half, trade after trade, year after year. The savings over the long haul can maximize your total return. If you define investing as I do, when you choose a broker, I hope you consider Schwab.
For a free booklet, What a Discount Broker Can Do for You, call toll-free 800-423-3100. That's 800-423-3100. Call Schwab now.
The U.S. Olympic team, considered an overwhelming favorite for the upcoming Summer Olympics, battles a select group of NBA All-Stars in a tune-up for the trip to Seoul. It's all coming up Friday, August 19th at 7:30 Eastern Time, live here on ESPN. Brian Hammonds, can Steve Butler hang on?
I guess Brian is not there to answer that question. But I think
Butler was motioning to his crew that his engine is going sick. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he can last 3 more laps. Gary?
Thank you, Brian. We saw some indication from the cockpit. It was hard to pick up exactly what it was, and there's the pass right there for the lead. Oh, what a heartbreaker for Steve Butler, but he's hanging on. Muscles his way off the corner and still has the lead.
we're going to see some action here in the last lap, because Mark knows that his engine's sick. He can hear it when he gets alongside of him. He's going to try extra hard. But that also opens the door for Bob Fry.
2 laps to go. Kevin Huntley has just gotten around Jack Hewitt. Look at Huntley. Huntley's going to the high side of the V6 of Fry. Huntley in that white 69. Now, you said earlier that you thought there was an engine problem earlier in the evening in the heat race.
There was. I heard the thing go sour. There goes Pup on the outside.
Pup on the outside. He has 3rd position. Here is the white flag. This is really going to be a 1-lap shootout for the 18th annual Tony Holman Classic from Indianapolis Raceway Park.
If he wins this race from the 3rd spot in this last lap, I'll be flabbergasted.
Well, he's running 3rd right now. He tries the high side, can't make it stick. Butler still has the lead. Alderson is 2nd. Alderson will try the high side. And Butler slides up. Alderson comes low off the 4th corner. Who's going to win it?